Good morning, Keller Williams. I am delighted to bring you one of our advertising partners today that I had the pleasure of talking with and got to know a little bit, but I want you to get to know him better. And I know your lovely wife also works with you in this business.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank
And
you.
what I was impressed with is I also have an agent mailbox here because I have a
Mm.
license, and your marketing is I really love that you guys are consistent with your connections to the agents. You lead generate for your business, which resonates, and you have some nice looking material here. Would love to just ask you a little bit about how you got started and tell us a little bit about you and your business.
Sure, thank you. And I'll tell Austin who does all of our marketing. He'll be glad to hear all your kudos. That's awesome. But yeah, Sandy and I we own the company, the business completely, and we've been doing it for 20 years. And we actually started out as real estate agents. Sandy had gotten her license, and I started developing what we do today for her. And then eventually, other agents started asking if we would help them, and then one day we kind of got to a point where we decided to hang up our license and just do this, serving real estate agents full time. So that's kind of how we got started, and Sandy always took the lead. I was always the one that had a license just to, do what we do to support
You're there
her.
for some
Uh,
leverage to help her
yeah.
with
So
the
my
things,
job didn't
right?
really change. I just ended up with a lot more people that I serve, and then eventually I got busy enough to where I started trying to figure out how to scale our business. And I really took a page out of the brokerage model. All of our photographers are independent contractors, and I kind of run my business just like it was a brokerage, except that we're working with creating the media that helps agents bring the listing to market. So
I love that. Well, I mean,
yeah.
all the things you're doing, no wonder you were resonating with me because you were both in the business. And so you took
Yes.
what you learned from that experience and then added it to this business to scale it for sure.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, how
It's
many
a
photographers do you have?
we keep about I have about 120 souls total in our organization to make everything work. Photographers, we keep around 100 photographers. We're not nationwide or anything. I've actually moved to every market that I've opened so that I can build the relationships, train the photographers, because we tend to go more deep in a market rather than spread ourselves really thin. So we're in our major markets are Nashville and Dallas Fort Worth, and then obviously Chattanooga and Memphis, and we're in Hilton Head, South Carolina. That was a fun place to live for a
Oh,
while.
I bet.
Yeah, and then we're in Destin, Florida. That was also a very fun place to live. We actually left Destin and ended up back up in this area, which I'm in Huntsville. So I'm kind of centrally located for most all my markets,
Right.
except for Dallas Fort Worth. So,
Any
but
plans for some additional markets?
yes, I think I don't want to move anymore. So I don't think we'll ever become a nationwide company. If there are a lot of real estate photography companies out there, they're really website referral services. So they'll sign up everyone and go nationwide. But we train all of our photographers because it's important that we're consistent with what we do, and we just provide a full suite of support services. So it's much more difficult to scale, going nationwide. So we'll always be regional. Tennessee, Texas, and Florida, obviously my favorite states to work in. So we'll kind of expand up in this area.
Well, I love that you called everyone in your organization souls. I got from when we talked before that you're very passionate about business excellence and who you're working with and who's working with you and what service they provide as a reflection of Showcase. And we talked a little bit about the why behind why pick you guys when it comes to providing that marketing, that photography piece for sellers. So why should we really hone in on Showcase?
Well, we do strive to have the best products and services, obviously, at a great price, very affordable. I have never sat down to figure out what can I get away with charging for my products. I've always been the leader of establishing a fair price, And I would say my biggest value to agents, other than, price and product and quality, most agents aren't even aware of it because when they call us up and they say, "Well, my seller wants you here Thursday at 1:30," we say, "Yes." It's availability. It's being able to scale large enough. And that's why I've actually moved to every market that I've opened because in every market you have to, every market's a little different on how many photographers, but you need enough photographers to stabilize out to be able to say yes every time. And my role in any new market is the gopher, right? So if someone's not available, it's all about getting out there for the agent when the seller wants it. Because the last thing that an agent wants to do is go back to their seller and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, my photographer's not available till next week," or
Right,
they're on
right.
vacation. So uh, but it's important to me for independent agency, and that's the reason we have built our business with independent contractors rather than employees. The spirit of an entrepreneur, of an independent agent, someone out there's, a micro business is really important to me. That's the way I run my whole organization, and I just think it's so critical. That's why I'm in love with the traditional brokerage model. Ultimately, I don't want big tech real estate come and, tell me what my house is worth with some kind of algorithm. I want a local agent, an independent agent, to come to my home and see my home and help me price it and get it on the market properly. So,
Well, and you and I, we talked a little bit about that because I mentioned that sometimes I got passionate when Gary Keller got passionate about this
mm,
topic, and that's why
yeah,
he built Command, our platform on AI. He knew that data was the new gold, and when agents are out there doing their thing, sometimes they're not really like, well, I hear you, but that's not really important, and yet
yeah,
it really is. And we talked
yeah,
about that. You have a passion around that too, with how the bigger picture is with multiple industries across the country and across the world,
yeah.
and how we're in that consolidation era, and that touches all businesses, even
Mm.
photography.
Yeah, it does. So our industry has been long overdue for the consolidation model to come in and kind of do what it does, and we're pretty much in it. Typically in big corporate consolidation models, from my perspective, from what I understand, is they love fragmented industries, which we are, and they love to kind of move in when there's a big disruption, which there is.
Right.
So there's just a lot going on, and it's hard for agents to kind of keep up with because a lot of what's going on with the NER settlement and the cooperative broker agreements and still the lawsuits on the horizon, that's where most everyone's focus is. But people aren't really looking at what's going on in the back door and the consolidations that are going on with the tools and resources that agents use every day to onboard and manage their listings. So,
So what do agents need to know or look for when choosing this type of photography? Like, what do they need to know about their client's personal data or their
yeah.
data?
Yeah. Yeah. So really the data that goes into selling property obviously is the metadata, the listing data, what you put into the MLS,
Mhm.
and then it would be the media that, because really when it comes down to it, the media, the photography, the video and all that is really is the product until the customer hits the curb, right? Until they come see the home. That is the product that's being sold. And the media is so important. Now, just to give your listeners some valuable tips from our perspective, when we look at the media and we think about the sales cycle, I always go to the 5 stages of the buyer behavior model. So real quick, it's, we recognize we have a need, need a new house, I'm moving to a new market, whatever. Two, we start searching for what we're looking for. When we're in the search mindset, our attention span is short. Zillow and big tech, homes.com, all these big tech sites, they're the king of search because customers tend to go there first. But once a customer thinks they found what they're looking for, that's when they start crossing over into stage three, which is that evaluation mindset where they want to pick it up and look at it and decide, spend more time. Their attention span is not so short. And traditionally, that's where real estate agents have an opportunity to grab the customer and really engage with them. When it comes to our video product lineup, really you have three products to market your home. You have photography, you have video, and then you have the 360 products. Out of those three products, absolutely the most important product is photography. And the reason why is not that, video is more engaging. You can communicate more. You can have agent on camera. You can have music, more emotion, more impact. So you think, well, video would be more important. But the reason photography is the most important is because it's the only visual media effective in stage two of the buying process. And that's just because we can visually consume pictures so quickly. In just a moment, I can scan 35 pictures and decide if I want to invest my valuable time into looking at that listing more deeply.
Hmm.
So the strategy here, and this is, I think, the most valuable piece of information that I can give a real estate agent in their marketing strategy, especially when it comes to the media, is get a YouTube channel because we know that every customer, if they're on Zillow or Homes.com and they're searching, if they find a home they're interested in, if they see the pictures and they become engaged, most people, they'll spend a little more time on that site, but most people will Google the address of the home just to pull it up and do what we do. It's just by our behavior now. We tend to
Yeah.
Google everything. If you have a video on YouTube and if you put in the title of the video the address of the home exactly as you put it in the MLS system, it will come up 99.9% of the time
Oh,
within 5 minutes of uploading it to your YouTube channel. And it doesn't need to be an established channel. It could be a brand new channel, it'll still work. And the reason it does is simply that Google owns YouTube. So when you
right.
Google, the goal is to get you what you're looking for on the first page because no one goes to the second page, right? And there's nothing more relevant than the address of the home that you're searching for as a search term. So it just hits very high ranking. So think about that. That is a one click. So first of all, they pull up the first page. Now remember, they've already been to Zillow, they've already been to Homes.com. So when they see Zillow, Homes.com, Redfin, they've already been there. But here's a YouTube video with the thumbnail of the video there, which can be extremely engaging if you do it right. It's a magnet. It's a one-click direct link from big tech to your YouTube channel, the local community. And if you had additional videos, with playlists, because you can do a playlist, put that video on your playlist, put the lineup in there so the next video is about the community or about the schools or the
Yeah.
lifestyle. So it's really an opportunity for an agent to uh, to really build relationships and generate their own leads by just creating a YouTube channel and putting all your knowledge and all your experience into that channel. Put it out there because buyers will see it and sellers will see it because a seller going down the road will look at that sign and look it up and all of a sudden they're going to hit the channel. So have a playlist for your listings too. It's just an incredible opportunity. So we rank YouTube, we really rank video next as far as the most important. And then the 360 products we rank third. They can be a good product. The only thing to consider with 360 is that you cannot control the experience. With photos, we can tell a visual story of the photos and really be engaging and control how you visually consume each room, each space, all the details.
Hmm.
Same with video, but 360, the user just walks around and maybe they see everything, maybe they don't, maybe they see something that they're not, they thought, well, I'm not interested in that. So strategy wise, you have to think about what products you use. Um, and we could talk more about big tech and their use of media and 360. And I don't want to get too much. I don't know how much time we have here, so I can get on my soapbox for a long time. But
No, I love your soapbox, okay? Like there's a lot
okay.
of nuggets that anybody watching is really getting. And I get and I like your passion. It's not just about sending out photographers. It's the big picture. And I think that our agents appreciate what you guys bring to the table with being in the business, understanding the importance of it. And I can tell you do a lot of research about how those products are actually used and consumed out on multiple platforms. I love that you brought
Mm.
up YouTube. I'm actually listening to a book about YouTube right now,
Oh, good.
because as a company, Keller Williams has had multiple conversations from the international level with some of the agents in the space that are doing really big things about how we need to be paying attention to YouTube and using it because it is a
Mm.
huge search engine.
Yes, yeah, yeah. A lot of the technologies, there's, using those to your advantage, really learning them is important. I mean, Instagram, all these platforms are all a little different. Just to give you another little nugget, when you think about the video platforms themselves, you have if someone is taking the time to Google the address of the home and they're highly interested in if they're interested in the property, when they hit that video in stage three of the buying process,
Yes.
that video can be 3 minutes, 5 minutes long, and they'll be engaged. And if the video is good and done right, they'll watch the whole video. But if they're on Instagram, let's say, and the algorithm just knows that, hey, you're a real estate in the area, and it knows that you're interested in homes, and it knows what you want, it's going to throw that in video in front of you. Well, the need between those two scenarios is a little different, quite a bit different. The need in the first scenario is that I'm looking for a house. The need in the Instagram scenario is I'm looking for entertainment, and that's a big difference. If it's entertainment, the way that platform is designed is you're swiping about every 30 seconds. You're not going to spend 5 minutes on an Instagram video because the person is they're every time they swipe, they're going through all five stages of the buyer behavior model. And just to finish up the buyer behavior model, stage four is when you decide you want to make the purchase, right? And stage five is when after a while, they call it buyer's remorse, but really it's like, we're never always totally satisfied forever. It's like we want a bigger house, a newer car, and we start the whole cycle all over again. So we kind of go through that cycle all day, every day on everything. So that's why it's such a critical cycle for us.
Well, I love that you've gone through the buyer behavior models and you've talked about photography, you've talked about the video, the 360 product.
Mm.
So tell us everything that we need to know about when we give you a call or we reach out to you on one of your contact um, platforms. What products can we expect you to be able to give us as a
Great.
consumer?
Yeah, so obviously photography is absolutely core. With video, we do vertical and horizontal for, whether you're putting it on like YouTube for a regular horizontal video or Instagram. We have the various formats as far as how long they should be. And so we have products designed for those different platforms. And then we have enhancements on the video. So agent on camera, we highly recommend. Being on camera it takes some people are just natural at it. Some people need to work at it, but everybody can do it. But it's a matter of maybe getting on camera, shooting some video that nobody's ever going to see, just getting used to it, getting your style, just getting out there. So we recommend at first maybe an intro and an outro, so a quick intro just to introduce the property, and then a call to action on the outro. And then when you want to kind of graduate up, or if you're ready right away, maybe do a scene inside the house, and we can record you in the kitchen or maybe a couple of rooms where you have a little more information you want to share about the home. And then we can use, we'll have some of that to show you on camera, but some of it will be using the audio, the voiceover as we're showing, the home, like B-roll. And then we can do really custom videos. We've done some really creative custom videos. You can check out our YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/showcase photographers. But we have some of the creative, just coolest videos that are fun to do. Um, and then we do all the 360 products. We do Zillow 3D, we do Matterport, we do what we call YouTube 360, which is our own product. So it's a full 360 experience on a YouTube video. So essentially, it has the same benefits of being able to, for buyers to be able to search the address of the home and find it and drive traffic to your YouTube channel. So that's a benefit to that platform. Matterport and Zillow 3D, most agents probably don't know, but Matterport was bought by CoStar about a year ago, maybe a little bit less.
Didn't know that.
Um, yeah, so homes.com, Matterport is now the homes.com 360 experience. Zillow is, Zillow 3D is Zillow's. And the goal behind those 360 experiences is really, I personally think what the big tech is wants is they want the customer to be engaged on their platform from search to close. Like they want the whole sell cycle.
Hmm.
Zillow, for example, they actually changed their mission statement. I don't know if most agents know this, but their mission statement used um, to be the leading real estate rental market place dedicated to empowering customers with data, inspiration, and knowledge around the place they call home. And the most important part is and connecting them to the best local professionals who can help, which is you. So they were a marketing arm. They were taking your data and basically serving it back up to the general public and using that to get the customers to you and make a profit along the way. Um, but then about a year and a half, 2 years ago, they changed their mission statement. I don't know how many people noticed because they didn't put their new mission statement back on their website. I had to find it in their quarterly filing reports. It says, our mission is to give people to unlock life's next chapter, which I think they're talking about their next chapter. Whether selling, buying, reading, or financing real estate in the United States, customers can turn to Zillow to transact with speed, certainty, and ease. So, how many companies actually change their mission statement? You know,
Mm.
so their goal is to keep the customer engaged on their platform all the way through close. They own the search, they do own that, but they don't necessarily own the stage three, stage four, and stage five. They do want to. So the 360 products and some of the other moves that they've recently made in consolidating our industry, real estate photography industry, is a goal to keep the customer engaged on their platform because they want them through the whole sales cycle.
So photography is part of that.
Photography is part of that. Yeah. Recently, another piece of information is that I received a call in October of last year from a company that they saw our website, they saw our platform, and they said it was a company called Aryeo, Aryeo. And they said, well, we have this platform that you can run your company on. It handles your scheduling, your billing, it handles your payroll, your delivery. It's way better than, what you probably are on. Of course, they never see my system, so they don't know, but they were really passionate about their product. And they said, we'd like you to be on our platform. And I told them, I said, well, because I kind of have Gary Keller's kind of visions, like, well, if for some reason my competitor bought your platform, that wouldn't really work. I mean, if my whole company is run on your software platform, you kind of have the control, right? What happens if all of a sudden you go away or my competitor buys you out? And I said, as a matter of fact, I said, because I've been watching the lawsuits for a couple of years, and I've been an advocate, with the two lawsuits are out there and stuff, and what was going on. I said probably Zillow's going to buy y'all out anyway.
Mm.
And they said, funny you should say that because last August they did. So
Wow.
I was
Oh,
talking to
wow.
Zillow the whole time, but
Yeah.
essentially what Zillow did was really quite brilliant. They had bought a company called VRX Media a couple of years ago, and they integrated those photographers into Showing Time. When they did that, they became my competitor.
Hmm.
So they wanted to be the one-stop shop to onboard and manage your listings through Showing Time. That's their goal. And they started rolling that out with certain agents. And a lot of agents told them, well, we have our own photographer that we have a relationship with. We like their work. We're not
Right.
really interested. Thank you very much. So it kind of, they spent millions on VRX Media, but it kind of flopped like iBuying. But they learned their lesson, and their next move was brilliant. They bought Aryeo, and Aryeo is the software platform that individual photographers and photography companies operate on. So with that move, they kind of gained control without really they consolidate them in a very unique way. And if you read the Aryeo press release from Zillow Group and all, they're planning on and they have already integrated that into Showing Time Plus. And and one of the big things they get, which is what they really want, big data. Big data understands the value of data. Data is
Exactly.
gold, and the
Hmm.
media is really gold. Um, so with this acquisition, they get full license rights of use of all the media that's loaded into that platform. So as a real estate agent, if you hire your photographer and they're on that platform, Zillow's getting full rights to that media. Matter of fact, it's a very broad license. They can do anything they want, including giving it to whoever they want.
Wow.
And with the coming technologies, we already have it where we can take photography and turn it into video. So we can actually create video from pictures now with technology that's out there. They can use that technology and they can reproduce it any way they want. So their goal is just to keep the customer engaged and keep them on their platform. And that's not what the traditional brokerage model wants, really. We need the customer coming to the local community because we can best serve them, right? So,
Right. Well, I love, you've got such a wealth of information, and I appreciate you sharing it with us, with our agents, especially because they're out there just doing their thing. And so, having someone else having that data or who you're in business with really matters is really it. Just let me just
right.
say that who you're in business with matters, right?
Yes. 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 Yeah. Um, so yeah, I think what real estate agents, as far as the media goes in this current thing, I know because everybody's trying to figure out, the whole buying side of our business now, and we have, I mean, I think we have some genuine concerns that, the nice thing about, not to get into that, but the old model, the way things were done, is that buyers really had representation. Everyone got representation. Now it's going to be a challenge, and big tech is in a position to take over the buyer side of thing with employee agents, because there is going to be a big need there to fill, and we have to figure it out on our side.
Mhm.
But so there's all that agents have to figure out. There's so much opportunity. I'm not a doomsday person, and in all this, there's so much opportunity for us that it's incredible. Big tech doesn't have to take over our industry. But on the media side, I would say for your photographers, just make sure that you get full license rights of your data. You're paying for it. It's your data. Yes, Zillow needs it for their platform, and everyone else needs it, but you should decide what rights they get uh, because it's your data. So just make sure that if they are on the REO platform, you might want to ask that they deliver the photos directly to you and they don't load it onto that platform, because the terms of use for REO, it's really around the photographer uploading it to their platform to deliver to you. So maybe there's another way they can deliver it. And we're actually working on a solution for that. We have a solution for us because we're not on that platform, and we've always given you full license rights. But we're working on a solution for other photography companies to maybe help them have an alternative. Because right now, a lot of photography companies, they don't want to be on this platform. You remember they were on this platform before Zillow bought it. Now they're stuck. Why do agents use Zillow if they're your competitor now? Well, the answer is, well, what other choice do we have? They're the king of search. The customers go there. We have to work with them.
Mhm.
It's just we have to draw lines in the sand and say, well, B2B, you stay on that side. You serve us, create value for us, respect our ecosystem. Don't turn around and be our competitor at the same time, right?
Right.
So it's just trying to keep them in their lane. They're not going to go away. We have
Oh,
to
no, no.
do
We
what we
brought them
can
in,
to,
we fed them. They're not leaving the house.
yeah, we have to define the
Yeah.
relationship and kind of
Mhm.
stick to that. And it happens at the
Right.
broker level and goes from there.
Well, I have so enjoyed this conversation. I know
Okay,
that um, I'm going to send this out, and the agents will be able to connect with you and tell us how is it, what's your best contact number for us to reach you? Our
sure.
best way to communicate.
Sure. We have, for all of our markets, we have a direct market number, but they all come to the same place and my entire team sees it. So if you text us at any of our market numbers, we already know who you are. You say, I need a listing of such and such, and my entire team will be on it. We will get you taken care of. You can email us. We do have an online scheduling system. You can schedule online, whatever you can eat, whatever works best for you, we can work with. So just contact us. Let us know what you need. If you ever want to just talk about marketing strategies or anything else with Showcase, my door is always open. My direct line is 615-739-3164. I work great by phone and text. Email, not so much. So email our company line if you want to email us. We have a company email address. Best one is showcasephotographers@gmail.com. So very simple.
Oh, yeah.
Showcasephotographers@gmail.
Well, it's been a pleasure. I thank you
Oh,
so
thank you.
much, and I know that you'll have some reach outs from agents across the area, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
All right. Thank you so much.